Hi there, thank you so much for being interested in my work. In this video I share with you my techniques and tips on how I create aging skin. We're looking at 3 different stages: the outline, underdrawing, rich colour stage and the detail stage. So be sure to watch it right through till the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down in real time so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. Starting off then by putting a center point on my board, and there's a center point on my reference image, and then from there I'm using imaginary angles, also using the horizontal plane from the center point and see where this mark lies. So I'm doing big shapes to start with, so I'm doing the line of the nose and the mouth, and then just basically having a go really first. Just it's a bit of guesswork, and then from there you just keep altering it until it starts looking right. I'm holding the pencil quite a distance from the point, so everything's quite nice and loose. Then it actually helps you relax more, because everything sort of just flows when you hold your pencil like that. So what I'm doing is putting the mark in, and then what I'll do is use a kneadable eraser and just to shape the mark if I need to. But here I'm just checking the distance from one thing and another, and that'll give me an idea then of the placement of the shapes, because all I'm doing is looking at them as shapes. I'm not really naming an eye or a nose or anything. I'm just looking, and basically it's just shapes I'm working with. It's really important to make sure that your reference image you're copying from, you can see the whole image rather than a blown up image, because you can get lost and everything gets a little bit distorted if it's too close up. So make sure you see everything all at once. Now here I'm just using the horizontal plane to find the level of one area against another area. Same on the vertical plane as well. And then once you've got it in lightly, then you can just go through it then with firmer marks and just go a bit shorter on your pencil. See how short I am now, because I'm starting to firm things up a little. So you start off really loose and then firm it up when you're happy with the position. What guides my hand is I'm just connecting to the energy of the person in the reference image. Now if a part doesn't feel right, it needs attention, and that's what I'm going with. So I'll keep going until it feels right. Here's a selection of pencils I'll be using for the underdrawing, just keeping everything nice and basic. Just red, blue and a yellow ochre there, and a few greens. Starting off with just ghosting the image with a Faber-Castell kneadable eraser. Just take that excess grey off. Just going over with the brown, keeping it basic: brown, red, blue, yellow ochre and a bit of white. That's what I will be doing. And for the white of the eyes, additional pencils here is orange and blue. Make nice greys for the white of the eyes. Great for teeth as well. Olive green for the eye colour, because it's more of a greeny bluey colour. So just a basic sort of a form you put in here really. I'm not too concerned about the value being right or the chroma or the temperature. All I'm doing is reshaping the outline. That's why I call it outline stroke underdrawing, because it's like one thing, because you're reshaping what you've drawn on the outline, because you're recorrecting as you go along. So this is your roadmap for when you start putting the richer colours on, which is the next stage. So basically what I'm doing is using the red, yellow ochre and the green and the blue and brown for sort of the wrinkles, just to start with, and just trying to just get that basic form and feeling of it. So I'm trying to feel the energy of the reference image again, letting that draw into me. So I'm bringing that reference image into me and drawing it from inside me, rather than going outside of myself with tunnel vision. And this will help you to connect to the whole of it, the whole areas and shapes. See, when you've got tunnel vision, you can only think of one thing at a time, so you'll be focusing on just one area, then moving on to another area. But when you bring that reference image into you, it opens up and you see everything at once. And so that's why I can feel when something don't feel right, it just needs attention. So you're going by that really, that's all I go by. The details take care of themselves eventually. It's just a matter of just enjoying the play of moving these colours around and just enjoy it really. Just let go of control and just let the colours just happen. If you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, and then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. I love this stage because you can really relax and just be loose about it and just keep adding these colours and just let it flow, and it gives you an idea for what you need to do when you start putting the rich colours in. Now for the rich colour stage, I'm using the basic colours I used earlier, but in additional I'm using these dark skin tone colours from Caran and a selection of whites plus the lemon yellow there just to create a glow. Starting off with the deeper shadows using the red, cold red, dark green, which is complementary, creates a natural shadow, but making it a little bit darker by adding blue and brown. Now the rich colour stage is still a blocking, but it's more richer and trying to focus on getting the colours more correct. But all the details and subtleties will be put on later on in this video, but all it is just one step at a time. It keeps you relaxed then, you see, so I'm not too worried about getting the details all spot on. All I'm concerned with now is getting that sort of colour and the feel of the temperature right. So one step at a time, and then just adding those little bit of details later on just gives that sort of sense of realism then. So I'm just taking my time with it, building it up step by step, and eventually it all gets done in the end. I always do both eyes together, that way you get the same colour mix as well then, because you could probably do a couple of hours working on the skin tone and everything and just doing one eye, and then when you get to the other eye you forgot what you put in, so it makes it look a bit strange, you don't look right. So always work on both together. Adding a little bit of that background will help as well at this stage to get more of an accurate feel to the colour temperature and the value and chroma. Just using those dark skin tones from Caran as well, but then I'll just adjust them accordingly because they're never exactly the right shade, but it just gives you more choice of marks, you see, rather than trying to mix those colours. I just put a bit of a dark colour down and then I change it accordingly with a few glazes here and there. So I'm just getting this sort of texture in, working on the highlights here. I'm using a pink white for this because it's quite vibrant, because some areas of the actual portrait are more sort of vibrant or sort of fresher. Now to achieve the texture of the skin, I'm putting lighter colours down first and then glaze over the top, and then keep repeating the process until layer after layer it starts to shape up with those sort of textures. It's a case of being patient and just keep persevering until it starts to shape up. I'm constantly changing and altering things as I go, so I'm like drawing all the time really, and just being aware of the balance of the drawing and getting that feeling. So again, if it doesn't feel right, there's some area that needs to be changed, and I get a sort of an indication of that by how it feels. So I'm just sort of working through now, putting those lights in and then just glazing over with the red, yellow ochre, bit of green here and there, and blue. So you've got temperatures, so if an area is more cooler, add more blue. If it's more warmer, add more yellow ochre. Just like to take this opportunity to thank all my patrons for their wonderful support every month. Can't thank you enough. If you're considering joining me on Patreon and would like the benefit of longer, slower and more in-depth videos, please check out the link in the description below. All the videos I put on there now are all in real-time audio, real-time video, so it's a chance for you to see and hear me every moment, and I discuss how I'm doing it and what I'm finding. So it's a really in-depth look at my technique. I'm actually offering an annual discount as well, so you get 2 months free if you join for the year. It's an ideal Christmas present or birthday present, depending on what time of year you're watching this video. please check it out. The link is in the description below for more details. Now blocking in the hair now with a Rembrandt white, and then just using a pencil then just to move that pigment around, and just simply just getting a feel for the direction of the hairs, but it's only a sort of blocking at the moment. Details will be put in later on this video. Now for the clothes I've used the grey, which is a similar sort of tone. You never get something exactly right, so you have to sort of change it up a little. I've just added a bit more blue to make it cooler, and using that Rembrandt white again to get that brightest area of the collar, and using brown and blue for the shadow rather than black, and then basically just using a grey pencil to put the stitching in. Just keeping everything nice and loose. It's my interpretation at the end of the day. I'm not trying to make it exactly the same, not putting every stitch the same as what the reference image is. It's just a suggestion of it here and there. Just slowing it down here a little bit so you can see how I'm adjusting things, putting the red and the green together, which makes a natural shadow, skin tone shadow, then moving the edge of it with the white, and then using the green again and then the red to create the natural shadow of the skin. And it's just going backwards and forwards really, and adjusting here and there, putting little bits of highlights with a pink white here, and it's just a matter of being patient and just keep persevering really, and eventually it does come together. If you're interested in wanting to know how I achieve shadows in skin tone, I have got a free class for you, absolutely free. The link is in the description below, and I go through how I use complementary colours to create subtle shadows. So please check that out after the video. Its link is in the description below for more details. Slowing it down to real time now so you can see what pace I work at. It's just taking it steady, a few little marks here and there, just a suggestion. I'm not trying to make every detail the same, it's just similar so I don't get lost in it, but it's just my interpretation. Then I'm using dark green and then red for the shadows to create a natural shadow for the skin tone. Now time for the details then now, so I'm just putting more and more marks in and more glazes. It's just a case of more of what I did earlier, similar sort of colours and everything. I'm focusing now on the values, the chroma and the edges as well, because some areas are softer, some are sharper, so that's in me consciousness now as I'm working, and just keeping it subtle though, and not trying to do every detail the same. So it's just my interpretation at the end of the day, and just flowing with it really. What I'm doing is squinting my eyes to see the values, open my eyes to see the colour, and then I'm comparing one colour with another colour on the portrait and try and get the overall feel to it. Some areas are more glowier than others as well, so that's chroma. So there's quite a lot to do with this portrait because it's quite detailed, but it's just a case of just keep persevering. That's all it is really, perseverance, and just keep yourself motivated by keeping quiet in your heart and just let it flow. And if you do get overwhelmed with it all, I suggest taking a break for 5-10 minutes, then come back all afresh then. It does make a difference sometimes because there's a lot of detail to do in this study. Now what I've got used to with drawing portraits is to put these marks down initially and be sort of happy or comfortable with the fact that it's not quite right. So sometimes you've just got to put some marks in there first and then just keep building up around it, and then eventually those initial marks get subtled up. So sometimes you have to be aware of so many moves ahead. It's almost like a game of snooker really. You've got to know really what's going to come later. So sometimes you have to put a lighter mark down and build it up with colour. Sometimes you put a darker one down. It's just a case of just playing and adjusting here and there, and it all comes to you eventually. So here it's quite cooler, so I'm adding blue and the cold red to create more of a purpley colour, and then I'm going over them with a warmer colour like yellow ochre or these warm dark skin tone colours. Here I'm using a CarbOthello grey white 110 I think it is, and just using the edge of the pencil, so I don't really sharpen them to a really sharp point, needle point, just use the edge of the point and just slightly turn it, and I'm putting little highlights here and there, so there's little breaks in the actual hair. So just be free with it and just flow with it. I'm using 708 here just for the shadows, and just glaze over with a bit of red, a bit of burnt sienna and blue there, just to create a natural sort of shadow colours, creates natural greys, and then just be spontaneous with it and just readjusting it here and there. And this pencil is like a yellow ochre white mix, and adding that to the hair, then glaze over with the burnt sienna and the lemon yellow, which creates like a goldy colour, so it gives it that warm highlight here and there. So anything that glows, just adding that little bit of lemon yellow to it, just makes all the difference. If you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It would mean so much to me, because this would help the channel to grow. Now this part of the study, I'm just trying to warm things up here and there by adding that 5% skin tone colour here and there where it's a little bit warmer. It's an incredible reference image, there's so many different colours and subtleties and temperatures. It's a really nice one to do. So just make sure that your reference image is small enough so you see the whole image, and then you can actually feel the difference in temperature here and there then, and then adjust it accordingly. I keep stepping back a lot as well when I'm doing this, and looking in the mirror and just checking on how it feels. Now sometimes I use two different reds, a cold red and also a warmer red. Sometimes you need a mixture of the two, so you just have to adjust it accordingly. And I'm just putting those little marks in here with the 5% skin tone colour, which is yellow ochre and white mix really, and just basically getting around, adding those little bits of detail here and there. And I've added a slight little bit of black here. I don't normally do that, but with this picture I got away with it really, just on those deep shadows. But I just added that green and red with it as well, just to make sure. Now on the eyelashes here, just need a little bit more depth and a little bit more sort of warmer sort of highlights as well. So use that again, 5% skin tone colour, just for the glints in the hairs. Now there's little bits of dark spots here and there, almost like moles if you like, or like freckles or dark skin marks. I'm just using a cold red and a cold green, and then just subtling it up then with a dark skin tone, just to blend it in a little bit here and there. Here you can see me tinting very slightly. I'm just putting no pressure at all on that pencil, just letting it scrape across the pastel mat, and then dabbing with the earbud just to soften the edges a little bit here and there. So I'm just adding those little bits of highlights, just makes all the difference. So I'm working on shadows, just making sure they deepen enough in places, just for those finishing touches, just going round, making sure everything's balanced. Thank you so much for watching the video right till the end. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. I really appreciate that, because that would help the channel to grow. If there's any questions, or if you want to let me know how you feel about the drawing, please leave a message in the comment section below this video, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. In the meantime, if you want to see any more of my work, please check out this video here. Take care, bye.